Okay.
Yay. Cool.
So,
Where do you live?
I live in Iran.
Awesome. That's what, okay, that's what I
Mhm.
thought you said. Amazing.
Yes. Are you living in US?
Yeah, North Carolina, so the southeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
So, how does this works?
We can
What is your approach?
we can talk about anything, everything.
Mhm.
What's going
Is
on?
it is it necessary to give you a short background about myself? Or
Sure, whatever. Yeah, let's whatever
Mhm.
you feel.
So basically, I've had a couple of glimpses, and um, like 10 seconds, and they faded away right away.
Mm-hmm.
But it was enough for me to see for myself directly what is this real experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be permanent. So, and currently I'm practicing like to not hold on to thoughts and allow them to self-release, like a Vakshan practice or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And
Beautiful.
I
Yeah.
was wondering if you can help me.
Yeah.
I know how it sounds.
So everyone has I feel like everyone has the glimpses, and the glimpses aren't um permanent. It's kind of like a experiential like peephole or whatever. It's like but what you already know that you are. You're
Mhm.
already self-evident. And so there's nothing to attain because you can't separate from yourself to attain this that you are, which is this pure conscious presence. And so it's actually too easy. It's too easy. And it's too already done that the mind just innocently will objectify it or look for something else or resist what's appearing to happen to distract from seeing itself, which is just innocent. So like in total silence, it's too obvious that you don't exist as an individual. So through this distraction of thoughts, innocently, you can avoid your own absence. Basically, you can avoid seeing that you're not the character, which can be quite humiliating, you know. But also another game of hide and seek is looking for yourself. So you pretend to hide by looking for yourself, and you can never find it because you are it. So it's like that's the futility of seeking is. And so this this focusing pure awareness, which is what you are, on this feeling, I exist, I am, without thought, which is just this pure essence, this pure sentience. Prior to concept, it just is. It's just, and there's no words. I mean, you can't even describe it. That's what you are. That's what you already are. And so you can't attain that. So it's already done. It's too easy. That's the problem. It's too easy. Like when I was doing back in the day when I did the who am I self inquiry, it went straight to the target every time of the pure awareness. aware of being aware, and it just was like pure, and it was too simple and easy that the mind thoughts would arise. Well, this can't be it. It can't be this easy. It's got to be some kind of profound explosion or profound spiritual experience or a kundalini, or I've got to be able to know this. I got to be able to know that it's a shift or something. It's got to be a shift, you know? And that's the pretend game of hide and seek. There is no shift. It's already this pure presence that just is. So when you focus on that feeling, which you are the perceiving, on the pure consciousness, it just becomes obvious that this has always been this, that you've always been that. You've always been home. You didn't go anywhere.
So, mm, is it okay to think that if I repeat this to remain before the mind, if I repeat this, the thinker will eventually be weakened enough to be stable and not identify with the thinker?
If you repeat it like a mantra, you mean?
No, no, repeat remaining free of concepts before the mind, to remain before the mind.
Like staying, you mean like focusing on the feeling I am?
Yes, to remain as the I am before the mind,
Yeah.
non-conceptually.
You'll see that it's not even a practice because it already is. Like you never left this. It's always been this feeling of
It's all
aliveness.
it's
Yeah.
already this, but the thinker
Mhm.
comes back. What do we do then? And
Yeah, and
immediately
mhm.
identification takes over.
Yeah, and what's perceiving that, you know? What's perceiving that, because when you see, it can be even logical that if you're aware of it, you're prior to it. So if you're aware of the thought, you're prior to it. You're actually the source of everything. You're
But
the
if I
spring.
am,
Hmm.
sorry, but
Yeah.
if I am aware of the identification, I am not present. I am not fully attentive, like in a flow state.
But what's aware of the identification with the thought? It wouldn't be the identification with the thought. So that it just helps you see that you're not the thought. You are the pure consciousness from which the thoughts are arising. That you're the absolute appearing phenomenal or relative. So that's the non-duality. It's like that's not separate. This is the absolute. So you are, pure consciousness from which these thoughts appear and disappear. You're permeating them, you're illuminating them, you're making love to yourself through every sensation. So it's not separate from you. So it's everything. It becomes everything. I mean, it doesn't become because it already is, but it's recognized that it's always been everything. That you are this pure presence, and everything is this pure presence, including the thoughts, including everything. So it all is basically reduced down to pure awareness. That's all there is.
Including not recognizing this.
Yeah, including that. And what's so cool is you're not even in the dream. This is deep sleep. So it's like deep sleep while awake. It's not even happening. And so like watching a movie, that you're not, when you're watching a movie, you're not involved with the movie. You weren't, you're not affected by the movie. It's just
Mhm.
it's just appearing to play out, like a dream at night. It just plays out. And you're uninvolved this whole time, like, and it's not even happening. So yeah, it just becomes more and more obvious that focusing on the felt sense I am without thought, that just pure sentience, pure aliveness, you can see clearly that that is this right now. That's what this is.
Um, is this focusing on the I am effortless, or does it require to be uh, not distracted by maintaining it? Because for me, focus is not effortless, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to
Well,
try to remain before thoughts. It's not effortless because there is a
well, this isn't a
very
trying.
extreme.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, trying is resisting because you already are this. Kind of like you chase after it, it runs away. You run from it, it chases after you because you are it. You know what I mean? So if you're trying or hardcore making effort, that's implying that you aren't it. And so then the imagination abstracts and brings evidence to that there's a search for an objective, something else. And so that's the whole pretend game of hide and seek. But this already is. It
Mhm.
just is. And so it's effortless. Like even if you do it right now, you close your eyes and you just focus on the feeling I exist. I'm alive. I mean, it's pure peace. It's silence and presence. And these are just putting labels. You know, it's just prior to labels.
It can never be known because as soon as trying to know it, we introduce concepts, right?
Yeah, because you are it. You can't know it because you are it. And you're
Mhm.
singular, so you can't stand apart from it. You are pure awareness. You are the source. You are the essence of life. You are the source of life.
To me, even trying to sense the feeling of I exist is kind of involving imagination, just to remain free of any notion. Even the sense I exist is more real for me.
Yeah, when I'll tell you when I first started doing I who am I didn't work for me for a while because it was just words. It was like I couldn't focus on that feeling because I didn't even know what that feeling was or something. But when I turned it to the question, am I alive? Do I exist? It just got silent. It just hit the target every time. That was it for me when I asked those two questions. So it can appear unique for, some people resonate with I have a friend that asks, who cares? Who cares? And that hits the target, you know? Or what's perceiving this? What is aware of this? And so the non-duality is you you first like it's like the mirror turns around on itself and the relative sees itself as the absolute and you're like, oh my god, I wasn't this character that I thought I was. This was all imagined. All this is perceiving these temporal sensations that are mentally projected in my pure consciousness that I am. And so I'm not separate from it. I'm illuminating, I'm permeating all of it. So then there's that initial like locking on to what you are is the pure sentience, the pure aliveness, the source of existence, existence itself, prior to thought. So you lock onto that first, and then you're like, holy shit, that's what this is. So that's what people talk about, the merging, which is not really emerging because it's already merged. You can't merge anything that, you know, because there couldn't have been any separation ever. But it's
Yes.
like that recognition. It was already, like Sailor Bob says, it was already cognized. It was just recognized. So like you recognized it again, like, oh my gosh, I am all of this. I'm none of this. Like, not only is this not happening, but I'm this substratum from which everything's appearing and disappearing. These transient sensations. And then you can see very clearly that how easy it was for you as pure awareness because you, okay, so like in deep sleep, you know, where is this dream of consciousness? You know, it's like you're all alone, you're singular. And then in this dream of what you're not, of dreaming the opposite because you're formless and visible, you're infinite, you're boundless. So you can't see, you don't see yourself. But when you mentally project, imagine what you're not, you dream what you're not by this referential negation, involuntary negation, you can only know what you're not, which you can sense what you are through that. So it's like this pure consciousness, this, you know, from which all of these images are dancing, that are just icons in you as pure consciousness. Like, just like looking at the body, if you're aware of the body, you're not the body, and the
Mm.
body's not conscious. You are the consciousness dreaming the body. There is no physical thing called the body. There is no physical things, but this like hallucination of objects. You could see how easy it was that you, as pure awareness, paid attention to solely identifying with these finite sensations, and that's what appear to limit you as the limitless, or appear to cause or create this resistance, you know, to wake you up from the dream, because you know that you are, you know, you're the infinite. So then there's this initial resistance to identifying with these finite sensations, because it's like alerting, intuitively alerting you that something's off, something's not right, you know. And so then you're in a
Mhm.
desperate search for yourself as the permanent, as the infinite, which is just so beautiful. That's why I call it a love story, because it's you as is God dreaming this, you know, looking for yourself in a dream, which you already are. And that's the joke, is that it's too easy, it's too obvious, it's too self-evident that it was easily overlooked by identifying with the finite sensations. And if you really like inquire into this, all of these appearances, and you really investigate and like dissect it, just like the dream at night, what is it really? You know, it's what is an object when you take away all the senses? What is an object without a thought? It's all sensual perceiving. That's all it is. It's
Mm.
all mental. So none of this is real. None of this is even happening. All there is perceiving, and it's just one, and not even one, you know. It's so then it can become obvious that this is deep sleep, and that there was nothing to attain or get, because it's always this sentience, this aliveness. And so this aliveness, this conscious presence, this pure awareness that you are, that's illuminating and permeating everything. It can't be separate from what's appearing to happen. It's obvious that this is this. This is pure beingness. There
Sorry,
you
my
are.
internet went
Yeah.
down.
Appearing and disappearing, see? Appearing and disappearing. And you're not even in the body. You're not the body. You're the pure consciousness from which the bodies appear and disappear. So that innocent misidentification with the body, with identifying as the finite thoughts and sensations arising, it was like objectifying this aliveness as that. So it was like claiming that this aliveness that I feel, that is pure, this pure essence, this pure sentience that just always is. I was just misidentifying that as being the character. And that's what happened. It was like, but it ends up being everything. And I'm
Uh,
not character, I'm that pure aliveness
mhm.
appearing as characters.
Yes. So after the recognition of I am becomes predominant in experience, the character never really falls away permanently, right? It serves its purpose when it's needed, right?
Yeah, the character, just like watching a movie, it's just doing its thing, and or just like the dream at night, where it's just appearing to happen, like spontaneous. And like in the dream at night, it's just spontaneously unfolding. But there's no more identification with the finite sensations. It's so there's no resistance to it, and there's no suffering from it. It's almost like you as this pure awareness from which from all that's perceiving all of these sensations that appear and disappear. The sensations are all equally in love. There's no difference between pleasure and pain, and they're not happening to me. They're just spontaneous sensations in pure spaciousness. They're impersonal. There's no entity that it's happening to. So then when there's no resistance and there's no grasping, like when you grasp onto joy or
Mhm.
satisfaction, which is basically resisting it. And then the pendulum swings back and forth. And then there's a referential comparison to what was or what can be, which is what causes suffering, because it's like resisting what's appearing to happen, refusal to accept what's appearing to happen in favor for something else in the future that doesn't exist or whatever. So that's just part of that claiming that those finite sensations are the aliveness, are the sentience that you actually are. You are that. You're the source. You are that pure aliveness that's eternal and never dies. So it was just falsely identifying or misidentifying with those finite sensations that appear and disappear. And then, you know, it gets exhausting too, because you see that it's all temporary. Those are temporary and they're unreliable because it was missing the point. It was like missing the mark. And it's like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
I'm that. I'm that I'm looking for. So the one looking is what's being looked for, which includes the looking.
So I have a question, but it might be a little dumb.
No, there's no dumb question.
So, uh, being timeless and being always fully complete, not needing anything, not having any preferences, does it ever get boring or nihilistic?
No, not nihilistic at all. It's like overflowing aliveness in love and immediate and intimate. So it's like you're making love to yourself through every thought, through every sensation, through everything, everything seen, the taste of chocolate, the breathing, the moving of the hand, everything. You're making love to yourself as everything.
So it's fresh in each moment.
Yeah, it's like new. Yeah, like new or childlike or something, because there's no object permanence or resisting. There's no resisting, so there's no, that resistance was just the pretend veil of, you know, subject object, which didn't even happen, which isn't even happening. So, and what you're speaking of already is right now. You already are that right now.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's, you can't get this or attain this because you already are this. That's the futility of looking for it, is it appears to cover up that you already are it. So that the
Mm.
innocently what you pay attention to, you render because you're God, you know. So if you're paying attention to, oh, it's got to be somewhere else, then the imagination will abstract evidence that it's got to be somewhere else, and it'll keep bringing up that evidence, and it gets nowhere. So it's like so basically it's all like the, you know, like the sugar pill, you know, it's all make believe, because you can pretty much prove anything because you're infinite potential, and bring evidence of anything or proof. So it just yeah, here when it was becoming more and more obvious, when there was like,
So was it gradual, the unfolding, the deepening?
yeah, it seemed to be that on the, I have a weird story though. I had a really fast one and then I had a slow gradual, but and it's not any way or a certain way because it's every way. So hearing someone's story doesn't mean
Mhm.
that, you know, it all appears unique. It's just
Mhm.
uncausal and it's spontaneous. So um when I was when the silence was becoming louder than sound or everything, when it was just becoming more and more obvious
Mm.
that I was mischievously distracting myself with worry and thought to avoid this recognition that I'm not the character, which was just playfully happening. It's so funny because it was becoming more and more obvious, and I was getting kind of excited about it, like in almost like butterflies in the stomach sensation where it was like, oh my God, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. And then it was like nothing to hold on to. And then it was like, quickly the thoughts came up. Oh my gosh, have a problem to solve really quick. Have a worry or find something to resist. And it was game over because it was so obvious that's how I was hiding, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just too obvious that I am this pure consciousness without qualities that's, prior to and beyond what's appearing to happen. Appearing is what's appearing to happen. And it's like, you're God dreaming this or you're God. Yeah, it's just,
But after the recognition becomes, um, so to speak, stable, there is still autonomy, right? There is still agency as pure consciousness through being, not doing. So
just
you
pure
can
beingness, pure
you
beingness.
can you can still choose states of being if you want to.
You can still what? What'd you say?
You can still choose different states of being.
I see it as like all
For
resonant.
example, if you want to write a sad song, you can tune into sadness just to write a sad song.
Yeah, it's like a resonance. It's like a radio station where you tune in and it's
So
all
there
it's
is still
all
agency.
channeling and it's all coming from you is infinite potential, infinite intelligence. It's not there's no one doing it. There's no individual. Yeah, it's just and it's always been this way. That's the funny part too, is you see the body and you see how automated it is. It's just doing its thing and you're not doing anything, you know?
Mhm.
You're not even moving. And it's funny how to watch it like even neuroscientist, which is just God talking to itself in a dream, um, discovered that the body does something or appears to do something, and then there's a 7 seconds delay of a thought, I
Mhm.
did it, a claiming ownership. Like, so it's just on autopilot. There's no, it's like a wildfire. It's like a dream at night, just spontaneously unfolding, and there's no one controlling it, or it's just happening, like watching a movie that you've never seen. It's just, and there can be a childlike wonder, like a being in awe of all of it, and like in love with what's appearing to happen because you're permeating all of it. You're not separate from it. This is your imagination or your playground. Yeah, so you're only as limited as you resonate.
Mhm.
Like it's like a radio station where you resonate with something and then you bring evidence of it. You tune into the radio station. It's funny. It's playful. It's changeable and malleable. This illusion is not even though I mean it's not doomed. Nothing is. And
Mhm.
when it's all you as this invisible essence, this pure beingness that's eternal, that's deathless, unborn, then what's harmful? There's nothing harmful. And on top of that, it's not even happening. It's like,
Mhm.
that's total freedom.
I think that's the final realization, right? Nothing is happening. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Mhm.
You're untouched, you're untainted, you're eternal. You're beyond everything. Appearing is everything. You're the pot of Brahman, the noumenal. So this is deep sleep. So it just all is just recognized as all one. This is the absolute. That what's appearing as relative is the absolute. So then there's no resisting thoughts. And when there's no resisting thoughts, they're allowed to be, because what you resist persists because you are everything. So if you push it away and you say, no, you're not allowed, it'll keep trying to come up to come play on the playground. It's all like a homecoming. So it's like when there's no identification with it, there's no resistance to it, and everything's allowed to play and be. So then there's no difference between pleasure and pain. It's all just equal, beautiful, and personal sensations arising as pure consciousness. And you is pure consciousness, and you remain untouched. Playing is, the screen, images dance. And it already is this. So there's nothing to get, there's nothing to attain, there's no future for this to awaken into, or there's no one to wake up, or there's, it's just too self-evident, it's too obvious, too easy. This feeling of I exist, I'm alive, that's it, it's already done.
And it is extremely ordinary, so I should not be like,
That's it. Ordinary, thank you, that word. Yeah,
I should not create it complicated, like, no, it cannot be this. I have to dig a little deeper and penetrate more into awareness. So this is just surface level awareness, and it cannot be
yeah, that's
this.
just making more obstacles. Yeah, because I remember that. Okay, so this is the other thing that I noticed. When it was already game over, when it was too obvious that that I don't exist as a character, an individual, that this is all imagination, that I'm God dreaming this, and I have no qualities, I have no personality, I'm just pure, like no thing. When even after it was totally obvious, like unplugging a fan that's still oscillating,
Yes,
some of the
yes.
thoughts, the habitual thoughts still came up. There was the thought again, which was on repeat for however many years, in the story, which didn't happen, by the way, because there's no past. But the thought arose, this can't be it. And it's like, oh my God, you cute little thought. Like, you cute little innocent thought. Like, how adorable is that? And so it was seen for what it is, and it was allowed to be. It was just like, oh, come here, let me hold you. Like, home sweet home, And then it just disappeared, because when it's not resisted, it dissolves, it neutralizes. When you're, you know, focusing on the sensation without the thought, and when you're, even with the thought, like the feeling of the sensation without thought, it's dissolves, it's the neutralizer, it dissolves everything dissolves into this, and you just swallow the entire universe. You're just like, so
Yes,
to speak, it's like,
yes.
yeah. And then it can appear that you see everything for what it is, like beliefs and concepts, and it was just all make believe. It was all you as this infinite potential appearing as these limited beliefs, or thoughts that you were identifying with, and which all had infinite meaning, which cancels itself out to zero meaning, because it's whatever meaning you give it
It's a,
playfully.
it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's harmless and playful and just, yeah. And then this character, Jenny, meditated for many years. So it became easy. And I'm not saying that, I mean, there's whatever appears to happen is, you know, is everything already. There's no need to do anything. But
Mhm.
um, it became like an on and off switch with thoughts. Like they're just for fun. It doesn't matter. You know, they're not resisted. They're allowed to be. They're not mine. They appear and disappear in the pure consciousness that I am. Um, and so, yeah, they're all harmless. And so there can be, like the other day, I went most of the day without thoughts because they're not necessary. They're not, you know, the character just, you know, just like that neuroscience experiment or whatever, where there was a 7 seconds delay. It's just like a playful overlay. It's not even needed. Like the character's still appearing to function and do things in the imagination, and thoughts are not even necessary, but they are for fun. You know, it's like it's okay to, yeah. So like there's been lots of thoughts today because I was writing and all, you know, stuff was playfully coming up, and but it's not resisted. You know,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. There's no should or shouldn't or right or wrong, or because it's all singular. It's all one mind.
Mhm.
Yeah, so those glimpses, I remember holding on to I had an explosive glimpse that I held on to, which was resistance, you know, and I was like, it can only be that glimpse. It can only be like that.
Mhm.
Which was just the game of hide and seek, like Alan Watts talks about, like hide and seek, God playing hide and
So
seek.
basically, we can say that glimpses are just states of mind, right?
I feel like with my glimpse, it was like it was like yeah, I think some of them are just like experiences that are kind of fleeting, like everything in the appearing and disappearing. But this conscious presence that you are remains. It's like the screen from which all of these sensations are appearing and disappearing, and you are illuminating, or you are pervading. So you are this permanent, this substratum from which everything's arising. Um, but for me, this that initial glimpse was the mirror turning around on itself, was the focusing on the feeling I am without thought. And that's your original face. So that was like seeing myself for the first time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm infinite. I'm not this finite body. And then it was like, but then what happened was I objectified that glimpse, and I was like, it's a glimpse. It's an experience that happens, that comes and goes. And so then it was like misidentifying it as that, or labeling it as is objective of something I need to get again, which it was covering up that it's already this right now. This is the glimpse. This aliveness.
Mm. I feel like, as you say, this is uh, this is what we are looking for already,
Mm-hmm.
and the only, so to speak, obstacle is the mind holding, or the attention holding on to thoughts and sort of not allowing to settle into the reality. It just doesn't want to let go of the control.
Yeah, and that can just be beautifully appearing to happen, and you're not even doing it. You're not involved with any of it, you know? And what is perceiving the thoughts? Like, what's perceiving the thoughts is prior to the thought, you know, illuminating the thought. So then it's like noticing the thoughts, and when there's no resistance to it and they're allowed to be, they dissolve or disappear, you know, or come and go just beautifully. Like, or it's just, it doesn't, there's no suffering or no, because the suffering is resistance, refusal to accept this as being it.
When you say what's perceiving, what's looking, it's as though if the attention it stops looking at thoughts and also stops looking outward onto objects. It's something in between, like a projector that's not projecting anything.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And it knows itself directly. Is that
Yeah,
it?
it's self-evident. It knows itself. Yeah, totally. Yeah, already done. And it doesn't see other, it doesn't see separation. It only sees itself.
Mm.
Yeah. So everything you see is you as God, you know. So every thought, every sensation is you making love to yourself. So it all is welcome and all allowed, you know.
Yes.
It's too easy. That's what's so fun and funny, you know.
When you solve a problem, it becomes easy.
And then there's no there, and then there's the recognition there was no problem to solve.
Yes. I remember when I had my first glimpse, it was like I suddenly realized I have always been like this.
Yeah, that's this
And
right now. Yeah.
mhm,
Mm-hmm. It didn't go anywhere.
mhm.
It didn't. That's what doesn't disappear. That's what's permanent. Yeah. What's so this pure consciousness from which everything's appearing and disappearing. These infinite qualities and sensations to explore or play with yourself is the invisible, is the infinite. Um, all of these apparent forms, which if you take away all the senses and the thought and the feeling, doesn't exist. You know, you are existence itself. You are that from which everything's arising, appearing and disappearing. Without you as the source, none of this appears to exist. You are God. And so innocently, these this illusion of objects like this teacup that isn't conscious, you know, there can be this innocent identification with paying attention to the object of attention as misidentifying it as this source of happiness or aliveness or bringing alive, you know, the aliveness. Because like when you attain something that you've desired, as you know, in the dream, there's this cessation of thought which shows you your original face, and it's like that's what you are, is this total contentment and satisfaction and peace. So it
Mm,
quiets the thoughts temporarily because you thought that it was the the new car or the new relationship or whatever. So it was misidentified with these icons that are not even conscious in you as pure consciousness, you know, imagining this, that it's just imaginary icons. So it was like misplacing this source of the happiness onto these finite sensations that appear and disappear that are unreliable and temporary. And then there's like, holy shit, I'm that. I'm that aliveness. I am that sentience. I am that fucking eternal happiness, that bliss that's, and oh my gosh, all of this stuff that I'm seeing is me pervading this spaciousness.
Mm.
Not separate from me. It is me. You know, it's just like I'm breathing myself. I'm, you know, in this illusion that's not even happening, because just like in deep sleep, I am that pot of Brahman. I am that unmanifest.
Aloneness.
Yeah. Yeah, all alone.
But in deep sleep, there is no awareness of I exist, right? Or is it?
Yeah, because you are the pure awareness, singular, without.
There's no reference point.
Hmm?
There is no reference point.
Yeah, so like, yeah, because you are that all alone. And so with this imagining the illusion of opposite of what you're not, like you're the formless imagining form through that appearance, you know, as your mirror, you can see yourself. Isn't that cool? Because even in the analogy, if you were the only one in the world, you wouldn't know what you were unless you knew what you weren't. With this negation, you'd have to have the reference point of what you're not to realize what you are. It's so cool.
Mm,
So these,
exactly.
yeah, so these illusory icons are the mirror from which you see yourself as the invisible, as the infinite, as this pure I amness, this pure aliveness that you are, dancing with yourself as these apparent, you know, forms and qualities. It's absolutely beautiful. That's why I call it a love story. And a love
Mm,
story too, you know, the romance of losing, or you know, pretending to lose yourself in a dream, and as God, looking for yourself as being everything. So hiding from yourself by looking for yourself, and hiding from yourself by literally being everything.
mm.
All of that is just stunning. And having never lost yourself, never left. You've always been this, and this is eternal, and this was never born, and this has no beginning or end. So these bodies appear and disappear in you as pure consciousness, but you don't go anywhere. You never die. And these temporary sensations are just this total in loveness. You know, it's like you're in love with all of it because you are love. And so there's this love for life. There's this love for even this dream. You know, it's,
The substratum of everything is love.
yeah,
Everything is made out of love.
yeah. And it's unconditional, it's all inclusive.
Mm.
Yeah. You are the lover in the lover's embrace. You are the lover that never left you. Yeah, so there's nothing to have to do or nothing to have to practice, or you're
Or
already.
not practice.
Yeah, Exactly. And if there's practice, that's it too. And if it's the thought, this can't be it, that's it. That's this too. Serenading yourself. There, even the doubt, even the resistance, even the seeking. So this is not something out of reach. It is the reaching. It's everything. Yeah, everyone already knows this. Everyone already knows that they are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reza. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you reached out.
I really appreciate it and I really enjoyed it.
Yay! Reach out anytime, friend. Exciting.
Yeah,
It's a celebration.
thank you.
Mwah.
Yes.
Much love.
Bye bye.
Bye.